make sure we're not on camera having this conversation. Yeah. What I would love to know is what kind of action should people be taking?
What kind of action?
Action, yeah.
Okay. Kindness can be expressed in many different ways. Let me spend time with somebody talking. That's action. Let me spend time listening. That's action. Let me cook something which is very special to my family. Let me cook a little bit extra and take to people who are vulnerable and leave it on their doorstep for them to share. And so these are very basic, simple actions that anybody can help and do. And so I think that those little gestures of kindness and love can go a long way and leave an imprint in people's hearts. You know, if there's an old person living near me, I know that they don't have time, the energy in that sort of sense, time. They don't have the possibility of cooking. Can I phone them and say, don't worry, I'm going to bring you something, maybe at 12, maybe at 1, whatever, but I'll bring you something. And so don't worry, I'm coming to you soon. And if social distance is a factor, then just leave it on their doorstep and wave to them through their window. That's something I can do. Let me appreciate the people who are looking after us and caring for us, the health workers. If I know someone personally, can I phone them and say, thank you from my heart? So let me just think about little things. Of course, there might be very big things. Maybe I can make a donation that's going to help people, the poor people in India, have 10 meals, maybe something. There's always something that one can do.
Thank you.
And I know, AJ, you experienced that during the summit. Somebody dropped food off, noticed that you were doing all of this work, and somebody did that for you.
It was so beautiful. Got left a care package at the door. It was amazing. Thank you, Leslie, who did that. I have one more question for you, sister. And that is, I think during this time of COVID, a lot of people have remembered what they forgot. They've remembered what's most important in life. They've remembered how valuable relationships are. They've remembered to practice slow mornings and to spend some more time going within. What would you say to people, given that when our quarantines get lifted and the world starts to go back to how it was, what's your advice for people to remember what we've learned through this and not let that become a distant memory?
I hope that the love and compassion and kindness that has emerged so visibly through this period will stay in people's hearts and awareness. Because in fact, I don't think life is just going to snap back into normality. I think there will be a new norm in which we'll realize the footprint that we're imposing on the earth. Because with less cars, no flights, all of this, we've seen such a change in the atmosphere. I'm not sure in Sydney or wherever it is you are in Australia, but certainly in India, for the first time in 40 years, people can see the Himalayas from 200 miles away. Now, that's something new. Otherwise, it was so much smog that you couldn't see anything. So if we again remember these special moments that made us delight, you know, the applause for healthcare workers, the applause for others, crucial staff that have been working hard to keep us safe on so many different levels, that appreciation and gratitude. You could see the big smiles as people were expressing their gratitude and the big smiles of the people who were responding to that gratitude. So I think that the human qualities and being in touch with our own hearts is so important. If today my heart is opened up even a little bit, let me carry on that process and keep opening it up further and further. And the world will definitely be a better place than it was before COVID. I heard somebody say that there's a new BC and AC that's come in. And so before COVID and after COVID.
Very good. Very good. So, AJ and Michelle, any other questions?
What I'd like to do is to give Nosh the opportunity to ask a question to Sister Gianti, because he has been our frequent flyer
And
through,
Mahubub.
and Mahubub. Yeah.
Mahubub
So
as
the
well.
two of them have been on nearly every single session that we have had with our 40 speakers. So if you're still on and you can hear us and you would like to ask Sister Gianti a question, please feel free to drop one in if you have one.
Yeah, Mahubub and Nosh. Now's your chance, and they're probably both going, now I'm being put on the spot.
Because I didn't prepare them earlier. But I think, let me just say, the thing that I just got out of what you just shared with us, Sister Gianti, is that if we're constantly in our mind, our thinking mind, we can make life, the universe, and everything very complicated and very tricky, and it doesn't need to be that way. You just gave a beautiful example of very simple action that every single one of us can access, every single one of us can make, and it's totally free. It doesn't cost us a cent. And I think that's beautiful for people to feel empowered that they can take that action, feel like they're making a difference and creating a ripple in the world. And I just think that's lovely. So has Nosh written something?
Not yet.
I just want to say one more thing. One kind act creates a ripple effect, but it's also an action that 5 others see and know about, and it inspires 5 others to do the same for another 5. Each one multiply 5, 5, 5. Multiply that a few times around, and you can see that one individual can have a huge impact on many, many others. And this isn't just my imagination, but there was a whole research process at Harvard University in which they were looking at kindness. And so they found that one act of kindness inspires at least 125 people. And so what you shared about a little act of kindness, now it's going to inspire you to help many others, and they also will be inspired, and so on and so on. So it's not difficult to think about how we can change the world. Never mind what I can do to change myself, but I can also do very little things that can help change the world.
So do you mind answering one more question? Is that all right, Sister Gianti?
Sure.
So this is from Nosh, and he's from Melbourne in Australia, and he has been sharing with us. He's been present at nearly every presentation for the 40 speakers. So that's why we're joking about him being our frequent flyer. So this is his question for you. Sister Gianti, how do I help people inspire and realize they are all magical in their own way?
Just keep smiling at them and give them encouragement, whatever they say or they do. When they're feeling a bit down and they're looking a bit droopy, just share a word of encouragement with them. When they're happy and glad, again, keep encouraging them. What happens is that we get very quickly influenced by the mood or the feelings of others. But if I can stay centered right here, and just simply keep my own stage of consciousness as elevated as possible through meditation practice, through study of spiritual things every day. And if I'm keeping my tank full, then there'll always be enough that I can share with another to uplift them and help them. And that'll be a great service, not just to them, but they'll also then be able to do that same service to others. Just as I always feel, I've had so much, what can I do in return? The person who's done so much for me doesn't want anything, but what can I do for others? And so that's a big motivation in my own life.
Oh, that's beautiful. A boomerang it makes me think of here down under.
Yes, exactly.
And then we had one last
That's,
question from our other frequent flyer, Mahubub, and he's in Abu Dhabi. And that was, how do we recognize this, what the silent voice is telling us?
The soul has goodness. And so in a deep, instinctive way, we do know what is right and what is wrong. We are very aware of it. but we don't listen to that voice that's telling us what is right. More often we're listening to the media, and yes, now technology is doing a wonderful service, but you also know of all the harm and damage that that does. And so usually we're listening to all the things that are going on outside, media, social media, friends and company, and all of these things, public opinion, what will my neighbors say, what will others say? And so that voice gets drowned out. And in order to be able to listen to it, I have to say, okay, whatever is going on out there is out there. Whatever is inside is something that I have to become aware of. And even the mind which is chattering away, can I let my mind become quiet and have a moment of peace, go deep inside and connect with myself? In this space, I'll know very clearly what I have to do, where I have to go, and what the next step is. And I just need to cultivate this practice to be able to go inside and connect with myself and listen to myself.
Beautiful.
Magical.
People are saying they're in tears in a grateful way.
There you go, Nosh and Mahubub. Thank you for all of your contributions throughout the summit. Thank you, Sister Janti. We so appreciate your presence here.
Oh, thank you both, and the whole team that is invisible at this moment, because I'm sure there's a big team. So thank you to all of you for having done this service for 1,000+ people, maybe more. I don't know how many, but I'm sure that many, many, many have benefited and will have been empowered to face whatever the next few steps are going to be before we get out of the woods with this.
Thank you, Sister Janti. That was quite atomic and left everybody with a powerful experience. So you're very welcome to stay on for the remainder. AJ and Michelle are going to summarise the summit and what are the main takeaways from it. So you're very welcome to stay with us.
Thank you, Stephen. Thanks for being the instrument.
Thank you.
So,
Wow.
we're kind of in that space where we deliberately haven't prepared anything because we wanted to just flow with what is and what was. Maybe we can ask Stephen if you have any words before we riff it out here, because we will.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, well, I think that the whole concept around the co-creation of the event and the synchronicity between many of the speakers, not that there was too much repetition, because there wasn't, but there was a real red line thread that went through it, I feel. And I think one of the red lines for me was about honouring your own wisdom and honouring that your own worth, and that you've got something worthwhile to contribute. That seemed to me that in every single, whether it was technology, they were talking about technology, whether they were speaking about physical health, whether they were speaking about inner health, I think it was that whole thing of your own self-respect, that you are something, you have something to contribute, and it is superhuman what you've got to contribute. So I feel that that was the red thread for me. And the other thing that was for me was the engagement, both through Facebook and in the chat box. And it wasn't just then, it was also after each of the events, because the conversation continued. And I know personally for me, because Sunday, yesterday was a rest day, so I went for a couple of long walks, and I could feel how this was moving stuff within me. So one of the things that I feel about it, if you missed some of the sessions, I really encourage you is to go back and watch the ones that you missed, or rewatch some of the things that you did really enjoy, because they'll continue to reverberate on your subconscious, and you won't even know that they're working and that they're shifting things. And that's what I was realizing yesterday, was I was just thinking differently about myself and thinking differently about my future. So thank you to both AJ and Michelle for creating this melting pot that just moved things around inside of me.
And thanks again for all your help and support in the logistics and the morale of the behind the scenes team. We appreciate our little WhatsApp chat that we've got going on. We might just keep it there to look out.
Given you're on a remote island up north.
That's right, when we need a bit of additional energy. But I think one of the things that I want to reflect on just to start with is that I'm sure AJ's in a similar situation to this, but I've got a history in my life of making these big, bold statements and claims about things that I want to do and doing it out loud, like in front of people, and then running away and going, oh my goodness, how the heck do I do that? And one of the things that I've been really focused on probably about in the last 5 years since I've been running Being More Human, my brand, is to in no way get caught up with the how. So I'm much better now at still making those same kind of ideas, or let's do this, or what do you think about?
No, really?
With less than zero idea about how we're going to pull it off. And the thing I love about working with AJ is we just have this amazing faith in ourselves and each other that it's figure outable. It doesn't matter what it is that we're going to be faced with. It doesn't matter that what sort of tech challenges we'll have along the way, or different comments that are being made, or whatever. We just know and believe that we're absolutely able to pull it off. And we also know that it's just not us.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that the biggest learning that I got out of the summit, again, relearning, has to be that for the world to change, for the globe to change, for our galaxy to change, for however big you would like to think, whatever the biggest fractal is that you can think of to change, it requires us to be bold and to be courageous and to step forward and to claim who we are as human beings and to be able to contribute. That's what it requires all of us to do. So I just wanted to kick off with that, really.
Kick off, here we go. For the closing, we're kicking off. We're just warming up. And I have to reiterate that. And I also have to reiterate that it is a team effort, and we have an amazing team behind here, and we are going to share all of their details in the Facebook group so that people can see them and honor them and acknowledge them as well. And we really invite you to give them a thumbs up and a 3 cheers and to thank them with us. This was an idea that we'd been discussing. Let's do something for humanity. Let's be of service during COVID, because so many people were in fear. And we'd just been away in Bali together on an entrepreneurial retreat, building things for human power. And we realized we had to change very quickly because of COVID. And I had this strong sense that now was not a time to charge for something right in that instant, but we did want to do something. And then we had several ideas, didn't we? And all of them, we were like, oh, it either didn't sit right with one or the other of us. And then the summit idea came up and we both just went, that's it. So we literally put this together in 2 weeks, and it's a testament to connections, to faith, to thinking boldly. And it's also to all the 40 speakers and all the others who also didn't get in, unfortunately, just because of timing and space. So we have a list of people waiting, which we hope to interview soon for a podcast. But the generosity of spirit, none of them asked about money and payment. And this is a time when speakers all lost their work, you know, with airplanes and travel around the world locked down and conferences closed. They'd all just lost their work. And yet they were so willing to come and be of service to all of us and to all of you. And so it just reminds me of when we are in alignment. And I just interviewed Loretta before about our biofield. When we're in line with our heart and we believe what we believe, we attract others who believe what we believe. And that's when magic happens, and that we can do magic like that.
It's when magic happens, and it's also when you're not working, quite literally. This is not what I would define as work. And I don't have a brain that sort of separates things at the best of times. I've got a real integration, consilience kind of brain. So for me, I'm not going to do a single thing that I don't think is fun.
Yeah.
So I don't know about you guys, but running a summit like this with 40 speakers in 8 days, that's serious fun.
It's been so much fun.
That's fun.
Absolutely.
In the least fickle of ways. And the other thing that I'm going to add is that if whoever's watching, if you have your own brands and your own business, and you might be consultant yourself or doing some other kind of form of business, a lot of people running businesses get really caught up with the idea of how much free content should I give away. It becomes like this block for them to go, oh, but if I share this free content, then how am I going to charge them for that free content? I think if you're really in that space of flow and you are in the right alignment, like you're talking about, AJ, your capacity to give for free is endless. And you should never, ever feel any fear that there's not more where that came from.
And I think it also comes back to, during times like this, that spectrum of fear and love, and deciding for yourself, which end of the spectrum do I want to be on? And I know for me, I believe that this is a benevolent universe. I believe that we are taken care of, and we just have to have faith around that. And I think of all of the strands, as Stephen was saying, the red thin bit of line through all of them talked about faith, and all of them talked about belief. All of them talked about coming home to yourself and understanding and listening to that silent voice within, as Mahbub said earlier. So I think that's our job. Our job is just to do you as best as you can do. Just be you. That's it.
Absolutely. And the more of you that you are, in every way, shape and form that means, the more you lean into yourself, and the more you embrace who you are as a human, and the more you're able to get to a place of acceptance about whatever stories you might have in the past, then the more able you are to contribute to other people around you. And Noshi's just suggesting, try asking this and how I can be of service for others. It's the best possible question you can ask yourself. Journal on it, think about it, talk about it. What can I do that's really going to create a ripple impact or some kind of ripple effect around me? What's within my source of control that I could actually implement in order to create a shift and a difference? Once you start asking yourself those kind of questions, you're so on the right track.
And I firmly believe that we live in an ecology, and that what one does something over here affects the other side. And so it's up to us to believe that this is a generosity economy, and to just put in without expecting to take out, like put in to the generosity economy, and you'll be amazed at what naturally kind of comes back. Yeah. So we should probably name the team as well. Let's thank them all. So Claire, thank you, Claire.
So on our, so just if we haven't been exactly clear, in our kind of day jobs, AJ runs a brand called UQ Power, and I run a brand called Being More Human. Yeah. So we do that on our own, although we do collaborate with that, but we basically do it on our own. So our collaborative brand is Human Power that's produced this. So we've used both of our teams together, and they've just come together like they've always worked together. It's been amazing to support the development of this summit. So from the Being More Human team, there's Marissa, and she's been really involved with writing content. You'll get some follow-up emails from us about the summit and what you enjoyed and that kind of stuff. She's the person who will write all of that. So she's fantastic with that. There's been Vanessa, and she's been like a mainstay really to the whole team, because she has been doing all of the design and the implementation of all the social media tiles.
Marissa's there.
Hey, so, hey, you're on. Fantastic. I'm glad you're here, Marissa. Yeah. I don't know if anyone else is here, but if you are here, Vanessa or anyone else from the Being More Human team, just jump on. So Vanessa's been doing all our social media, and then Jen McPeak has been the person who's set up all the Zoom links and managed all the speakers links and make sure that everyone's got the right information at the right time. She's been sending out all the evaluation forms. She's like the organized one in the bunch of us. And which is fantastic. I know I'm missing someone. Who am I missing?
Michelle Trimble.
Trimble. So Michelle Trimble has been doing all the technically hard work on the back end of our website. So she's done all the design on the website, made sure that all the speakers are new and fresh every single day and up front. And so that is the team that has been helping us out.
And Steve-O there, who has volunteered his time, who just generously, as a dear friend of mine, said, hey, what can I do? And volunteered to be the backstop for us and a backup if we needed someone to support us with any of the speakers. And I think that's for everyone to know. Like, if you see people and you like what they're doing, go and approach them and say, hey, can I help you? Speaking of which, Nosh has just said, how can we help AJ, Michelle and Stephen and the organising team? That's really sweet, Nosh.
And so my answer to that, Nosh, would be the funding is not over.
Yeah.
And we're going to share a little bit about what we've got coming up for you next, for some of it anyway. But so I would just say, if you would like to help out, just still encourage people around you to jump into the Superhuman Summit group on Facebook and go ahead and link up with all the different videos and see what they like and become part of the group and part of what evolves from there. But what I would love to do is to ask a question back to you. You don't have to answer this now, but we would love you to answer this question, let's say in the next 48 hours or so. What would you love to see Human Power and the Superhuman Summit group turn into? We've got some ideas, we've got a few plans, but we're really open as well. So if you have some kind of fantastic idea of what you would like to see off the back of this, please just funnel that back to us. And you've seen what our style is like. We are really open to any kind of ideas and suggestions that you have. So we would love for you to give us some feedback about, you know, what you would like to see off the back of it.
Come play in the sandpit. We love to play.
You know what I feel like? I feel like when I grew up, I used to go to summer camps all the time, and I'd go to, like, you know, 6 weeks of summer camps. And at the end of summer camps, you'd just be like, oh, bugger, summer camps are over and now I have to go home. I have that same feeling.
Oh, bummer.
It's funny, isn't it?
It would be great, but there will be more. We are planning a podcast. We will also have a YouTube channel, and there is also a program called the Superhuman Program, where you get oodles and oodles of time and attention from Michelle and I over a 30-day period, where you can participate and learn more about how you can become superhuman. So
it's more of a, like, we've been having a lot of conversation at that higher level, conceptual sort of level. The program that we've got is more about how do we develop the specific skills. So it's more around the skills that we need to be superhuman. And as AJ mentioned, lots of one-on-one support from both of us. So you will find more out about that because you've been part of the community.
Dwan's saying would love you two on a podcast. Yeah, it might get a bit silly, right? A few people have noticed my silliness. Lots of people are saying great things in Facebook. Arn said, love that you're celebrating with a glass. It's actually approved.
A glass of kombucha. We both hardly drink at all. Like we're
silly enough.
We're almost teetotalers. So, you know.
I've learned to accept more me, others finding a morning ritual. Everyone, thank you. A festival event for peace.
Ooh, Rebecca Gibson. Like the way you think.
I like that you're planning a podcast. One of the things we did want to close on was a word as well. Because everything about this summit, including the 40 speakers, and I hope it felt like a big family to all of you, because that's kind of how it felt in the end, because often we were chatting to speakers before and in the background and emailing and talking to them, and it started to just feel like this big party or something. Oh, Nosh, yeah, we can bring you on.
Yeah, we'll do anything for you, Nosh.
And so one of the things we did want to ask is if people had just one word that they could summarize the summit, could you tell us what one word you would use? Nosh, you're on twice, so I'm going to allow you to talk, but I don't know which one of you it is.
Have you got a video there? Can we bring him on video?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Nosh.
Which one are you?
Hang on.
Can you speak again?
Can you hear me now?
We can. Hello, Nosh. How are you?
I am good. I won't take a lot of time, but my one word is I am very grateful to both of you ladies. It's an amazing thing. And it's just helped so many people, including myself, to be that superhuman. When I first saw you, and I went like, and this is brutally honest, and I went like, these people in capes, what are they doing?
What are you doing in the cape?
And then And then I went like, no, this is wisdom coming out of it. And I am half Indian, half Persian, so I can relate to so many things that you've said. I'm conscious of time, but thank you. Heartfelt gratitude to both of you ladies. And AJ, you are one funny person. Oh my God.
Naughty. Don't
And
let
so is
anyone find out.
No, we won't. But that is our superpower because we can sail through all the turbulences with our humor. I mean, I have definitely had some. I mean, I came to Australia when I was 24, didn't know anybody, walked around the supermarket not knowing what spam is, too embarrassed to ask what it is. So can you imagine? I knew what baked beans were, but I didn't know what barbecue flavor was. So there you go. And I came from the fastest city in India, which is Bombay, and the second fastest, I believe, in the world, apparently. But thank you. I'll shut up now.
Can you just say what your one word was again before we knock you off?
Grateful.
Grateful. Beautiful.
We are grateful for you. And Stephen said grateful as well. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being part of the fun.
And we have growth, lovely, inspirational, beautiful, fantastic. So we're going to utilize some of those words and put them together in like a word cloud style-y thing and see if we can't play with that in some way. So is there anything else you wanted to share?
God, I think we've said enough, haven't we? Maybe?
I think we have
all
said
sick
enough.
of us? And we all need a break.
Yeah, now it's the time for silence, I do believe. And
maybe that might be a nice way to end, is with a little regrouping, which would be really nice. And given we've started each day of the summit with a meditation practice and with coming together, and thank you to all of our meditation leaders and instructions. Oh, we've got people, we better just acknowledge some of the people on Facebook land that have said inspiring. And yes, Anne is shouting, she's written in capitals. Reaffirming, shift, connection, reaffirming. Lots of thank yous. Thank you, everyone. Everyone's saying an annual summit. And yeah, we've got a waiting list of speakers and people who we want to get back and do more with. So quite potentially. Grounding, inspiring, alignment, beautiful words. So perhaps to end off, it would be appropriate to just have a moment of reflection and meditation and maybe some breath together, because that's something that's been talked about a lot, is the importance of meditation and the importance of breath. So perhaps we can invite you all for a moment to just shut down your eyes or downcast, to bring yourself into grounding, to feel your feet on the floor, your buttocks against the chair, or if you're standing, just noticing that feet in the floor, and tap down into the wisdom of the land on which you are situated. Feel the presence of Mother Earth, the gift that she brings to you and gives you life. Feel yourself tap into the wisdom of all of our First Nations people who have walked this land long before us and whose wisdom we carry in our DNA. And allow that to draw up along your spine, up into the crown of your head, and prepare yourself for a shaft of golden light to come from the universe above and to rain down over you in glorious abundance, joy and wisdom of love and connection. And may that bring a tingling sensation right through to your fingers and your toes and across your forehead, descending down into your beautiful heart, so that you may know every day from this day forward that you are loved, you are connected, and we are all one. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, delicious humans. I had to say it. You're all delicious. And we love you.
We do love you. See you, everyone.
Much love. Bye.
Bye, Zoom.
See you in the Facebook group. Bye, Facebook.
Bye.
Bye.